The good Lord heard our prayers and the rain stopped.
And it has, and Tony Vasil's got Elvstrom and he'll be as nervous as Mick Price. Peter.
AJ, I just spoke to Mick Price and said months and months of preparation goes into this moment. You're feeling exactly the same and you've handed over now. How does the young trainer going into the Derby feel?
Well, I've done my job, Pete, but it's up to Damien now. It's out of my hands. My job specifically was to get the horse in one piece to the race as fit as I can, and I think I've achieved that. I'll tell you how much I've achieved in about 5 minutes, but you know, like I say, it's the jock's on. It's his chore now to do that, and pretty happy we've got the best in the business on board too. Apart from that check you got going up the hill after 300 metres in the Caulfield Guineas, you probably wouldn't change anything about this horse's preparation? No, and even in fact, you know, it's not often that you're feeling very comfortable about losing a Group 2 race, but I think I was the happiest to ever walked away from a racecourse last Saturday having got beat, so I was delighted the way he pulled up, and he's just done everything right all week, so yeah, just a bit of luck in the running, and hopefully we'll be winning. Are you nervous? No, not really. No. You might be in a couple of minutes. Yeah, no, it's just another race. It's got a big name attached to it, that's all. Tony Vasil, best of luck. Thanks, Pete.
Just another race. It's the oldest classic in the book. It's older than the Melbourne Cup, this one. $1.25 million as the horses make their way out onto the track for the Amy Victoria Derby.
...2003 Amy Victoria Derby, made possible by our telecast partner, Amy. Lucky you're with Amy.
Looking down at Flemington on Amy Victoria Derby Day and the showcase event, only a couple of minutes away. Big crowd here as we now join Annalisa Kerrigan for the national anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. With joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia.
What a voice, Annalisa Kerrigan there from Orchestra Victoria. We'll hear that anthem again tonight at the Telstra Dome when Australia plays Ireland in the Rugby World Cup. Horses behind the barrier here. We've talked about the hot start here. We know that Kempinski's going to go forward. Do you reckon Oliver would know that on Elvstrom?
I reckon he'd guess that, Bruce, and he'll certainly see him go forward as soon as they jump. He knows that if Kempinski goes backward, he's going to give away too much start. He'll expect him to go forward.
John Letshaw down there. It's only a short trip from the mounting yard to the barrier. How have the colts arrived?
Yes, Bruce, and they've arrived very well. And also, it's only a short trip to the first corner. The barriers are very, very important here. Kempinski's got a bit of a job from barrier 13. Hopefully, Kerrin can get him in and give him a nice soft run there. But Elvstrom and the other horse, Noble Red from the Lee Freedman stable, they're the two horses that are going to really have the cushy run, I think. But Elvstrom, well, he looks very, very well. Damien Oliver, he's very relaxed, and so is Kempinski, very relaxed horse. The three favourites, actually, Bruce, are very, very relaxed behind the gate.
Well, just who is the favourite, John? We're about to find out. Let's go down to the betting ring. Who runs favourite in the Derby, Pat?
Elvstrom will run favourite, and there's been nice money laid for Elvstrom, but what we're seeing on the tote is pretty much reflective of what is happening in the ring. Kempinski now into $4.60. You remember it was out to $6.90 on the tote earlier. That's about what it is with all the bookmakers this afternoon. And Noble Red has been a touch easy with bookmakers, but Elvstrom will start favourite in the Derby.
I keep thinking, Ken, and keep going back to last week at Moonee Valley, if I'd left the course knowing the price of both these would be, I would have been surprised. I thought they'd be about $2.80 and $3.50.
Yeah, so did I at the time, but then when you start to think, you do the form, and particularly with Kempinski drawing wide, that's very relevant. There's face value going forward.
So the jockeys that have won the Derby, Oliver twice, he's on Elvstrom, King twice, he's on Extolling Virtue, and Greg Childs, who's on the outside at Golden Breed, has won it on a couple of occasions as well.
And there's the favourite, Elvstrom, going into place. Lovely horse, very relaxed, particularly just at the start. No problems there, and Damien, I'm sure, will put him to sleep in the run. But I expect him to probably be about 4th or 5th, not too far back.
Zach Burton just off the saddle on Dunkirk for the moment. 1855 was the first time the Derby was run. It's the oldest classic in Australia. Let's join Greg Miles for the 2003 Amy Victoria Derby.
Blood is ready. So our Bahari with the gold cap on Noel Kello to complete the line for the Amy Victoria Derby. Dunkirk's rider climbing up into the saddle now. And the field is locked in. They're ready. The Group 1 Derby. Set. Racing. Noble Red a little slow. Our Spur began fast. Elvstrom, Golden Breed got away well. Kempinski's on the move from a wide barrier. He's going towards the front. Penitentiary settles at the end. They're bunched and Nasri's driving through, trying to find the lead. Our Spur on his inside. Kempinski doing a little bit of work early in the red colours wide, and then Golden Breed. Noble Red just off them, 5th on the inside with Face Value around him, and then Extolling Virtue, Caddy Opera, followed by Elvstrom. He's got back a little worse in midfield now. Behind him is our Bahari, and then came Captain Zigzag. 2 lengths further back is Dunkirk, Penitentiary, and Dembellis whipped the field in. Along the riverside, Face Value strides to the lead. He's out by about 1.5 lengths. Denazri second, Kempinski third on the outside. Then a break of 2.5 lengths away to our Spur on the inside of Golden Breed. 2 lengths to Canny Opera being followed. Extolling Virtue trapped out wide. Noble Red's in the centre. 1.5 lengths to our Bahari, and then came Elvstrom on the outside, 9 lengths from the leader, followed by Captain Zigzag, Penitentiary, Dunkirk, and Dembellis is last of all. Face Value the leader, and at the 1400 metres he clapped on a bit of pace and he went out by 4 lengths. Kempinski strode up into second placing. Denazri's a length away third. A length further back is Golden Breed, followed by our Spur. A neck away then on the outside, Extolling Virtue, followed by Noble Red, 1 to Canny Opera. 1.5 lengths further back is Elvstrom, followed then by our Bahari. Then Captain Zigzag, trailed by Penitentiary. Dunkirk second last, and 3 lengths last of all is Dembellis. Inside the 1,000 metres, and Face Value out by 2.5 lengths. Kempinski second, followed by Denazri, Golden Breed. Extolling Virtue's been doing some work wide, and then came our Spur. Noble Red within 6 of the leader now, being trailed further back Canny Opera. Elvstrom is following Noble Red, and then our Bahari, followed then by Captain Zigzag, not responding to hard riding, followed by Penitentiary, and then Dunkirk and Dembellis. The Derby field is on the swing for home, and Face Value the leader, but Kempinski is moving into the race with great purpose, and he hit the front. He's gone to the lead at the top of the straight. Coming home with Al Bahari and Noble Red, and now Elvstrom is starting to wind up. Kempinski at the 300 leads by 2 lengths. Here comes Elvstrom on the outside. Al Bahari is going with him. Noble Red battles next. 150 to go. Kempinski in front. Elvstrom is after him on the outside. Oliver wields a whip. Elvstrom got level and went straight past Kempinski. And Elvstrom strides away to win the Derby, beating Kempinski 1.25 lengths. Third Bahari 4 lengths away, and then Noble Red, Penitentiary, followed by Face Value, Captain Zigzag, and then came our Spur, and back behind those Dembellis and Canny Opera. A long break, Denazri and Golden Breed. And back last is Dunkirk with 1 more. Extolling Virtue hasn't finished the race, just walking over the finishing line. Victory for Damien Oliver.
His 3rd Derby win. He was the biggest story of the Melbourne Cup, maybe the biggest sporting story of the year just about, with his brother Jason last year, and today he wins the Derby for the 3rd time. Barriers played a big part in that race, Ken.
They certainly did, and the great patience of Damien Oliver played a big part. Coming to the home turn, he was shuffled back to 9th. He knew Kempinski was second and bolting, but he didn't panic, and that's why from the 3/4 furlong home, where Bruce is pinpointing them here, the 1st and 2nd place getters, that's why Elvstrom was able to go home as well as he did, because he had that cuddle in the run.
Great run, Kempinski. The 2 Danehill Colts, what futures they have. I mean, a lot talked about quality of derbies. We don't know where these 2 horses are going, but you've got the feeling that they're both well above average.
Bruce, I've got to say that the two horses now, Elvstrom is probably worth $5 million. As a Victoria Derby winner, with the pedigree he's got by Danehill from an Oaks winner, and by golly, he's worth a fortune. And you know, he was returned as a yearling when they weren't satisfied. He was sold and returned to the original owners, and what a blessing that has turned out to be for them.
Yes, so we're talking about multi-million dollars for both these colts now, but Elvstrom's won the Victoria Derby over Kempinski. Al Bahari's run right up to Geelong. Noble Red, every chance fourth, battled on well. Penitentiary ran fifth, and Face Value sixth. So really, Ken, it was the top six. It was the top five plus Al Bahari.
Exactly right, and most of us had him as the best roughie, and I can't speak highly enough of Oliver's ride. It was a ripper.
Tony Vasil, well, he wasn't nervous a little while ago, Peter. I wonder how excited he is right now.
Well, let's find out, Bruce. Here he is, the Derby winning trainer. How does that sound, Tony?
That's pretty good, Pete. Yeah.
You had trouble getting in the gate, but your horse didn't have any trouble finding the line.
No, lucky I got in the gate, yeah.
What about throughout the race? Can you take us through your thoughts?
Horse jumped well, probably a touch keen.
Just got his head up a bit early, didn't he?
Yeah, look, I said to Damien, you might find that you might have to do something fairly severe and jag him if he's going to get keen, but I said, don't think that he's going to race with his head in the air the whole way. I said, once you let him know, because he's stepping up to a longer tempo, the horse is probably only trying to do what he's been doing the last few runs, and the slower tempo, he's probably going to be needing to drag him back a bit. And I said, don't worry if he does do that. But as you saw going down the post the first time, he got his head in the air. But once that was out the way, the horse settled good. Then he rode him a nice long rein. I probably worried a bit when the leader skipped at 200, and you could see he was just winding up. He's got a habit of sort of wanting to run in. Yeah. And he was sort of costing himself probably half to a length there by doing it. And but luckily he got him on a straight course, and he just proved too strong on the line and just stayed the journey. Congratulations on your biggest moment. You said you had the best in the business in the saddle. Here he is now. Here's John Letts with Damien Oliver. Hey, and how popular is Damien Oliver? Even around the back here of the stalls, Pete, we've got guys down into 2,000 metres. They're cheering him from the top of the cherry picker up here. But I said, Damien, your third derby. He said, hey, four. He said, I won the Australian derby. But what a win this one today, Dame.
Yeah, terrific, Lexi. I just thought it was important to get the horse to relax. He was a little bit keen early, but I just wanted to get him to settle, and I thought Patience is going to win this race for us today. And he was the toughest at the end.
You got shuffled back a bit coming to the corner, but when you straightened him up and got him balanced, he's a horse, does he like a little bit of room?
I think it doesn't really matter, but I think the important was just to have the last crack at him. I wanted to be the last one going at him. I didn't want them coming at me, so it worked out beautifully in the end.
Yeah, and finally, Damien, with Tony Vasil, one of the guys that you grew up with, to win a Group 1, like his second Group 1, it's $1.25 million in a Group 1, and how does it feel to win for, just like more or less one of your mates?
Yeah, it's wonderful for Tony. He's a great bloke, and he's got a great team of people behind him, and he's worked hard for so long, and now he's got some good horses, and couldn't be happier for Tony.
Yeah, enjoy the applause, mate, because you certainly deserved it, and what a way to start the Melbourne Cup Carnival.
Thanks, AT.
Terrific. That horse didn't get into the Cox Plate field, remember, Elvstrom, and Tony Vasil was disappointed with that. And today he wins the Derby. And, Damien might have to make a choice next year. Sir Dex and Elvstrom, he's ridden them both today, and I think Sir Dex is on his way to the AJC Derby. Exactly, in the autumn, but Sir Dex mightn't run the distance. You don't know yet. You know this horse will. And I'll tell you something about Elvstrom. He's going to keep getting better. His best is ahead of him. Well, Ken said, and I think he's spot on, this horse is worth about $5 million. He's by one of the greatest sires of all time, Danehill. His mother was an Oaks winner, second in the Caulfield Cup and fourth in the McKinnon. He's named after a champion, Paul Elvstrom, an Olympic four-time gold medalist, and today he's the champion of the Derby. And being by Danehill out of a mare from the Star Kingdom line, his mother's by Masqué, and he won a golden slipper. This horse is worth a lot of money in Europe, not just in Australia. Well, what a story. Elvstrom with Damien Oliver. Damien rides Mr. Prudent, the 9-year-old in the Cup on Tuesday. And today he wins the Derby for the third time. The main part owner of Elvstrom is Frank Tagg, a gentleman from Sydney who made his money out of McDonald's franchises. I sure think that $5 million would buy plenty of McDonald's. Well, it's a terrific story for horse connections, trainer, and also for jockey. Damien's won over 60 Group 1s. For Tony Vasil, just his second today. His only other Group 1 win was in the Goodwood Handicap with Marstic about 3 years ago. I'm from Adelaide. The Goodwood's an important race, but this is a step up again. This is Grade 1, and I think there's a slight slur on you as a trainer till you win a distance Group 1 race to show that you can get a classic contender.
Tony's done that today, and all honours to him.
One of the highlights of the last week of racing has been the battles between Kempinski and also Elvstrom, and for the second time we've seen it today. The second of many, I think.
Yes, Bruce, I've got a feeling that the second's not the last time. I reckon we'll see them in Sydney at Easter. They might even be Cups horses next year.
Or maybe Cox Plate, who knows? I mean, the sky's the limit. They're bred to do it, and they've done it today. Terrific win, Elvstrom, Damien Oliver, Tony Vasil, winner of the 2003 Amy Victoria Derby.
And he goes by the name. Our winner for 2003, Alicia Kelly.
What have you made of the whole situation so far?
Oh, I feel like a movie star. You just wake up just looking all bad with just our L'Oreal robes on, and then we walk out looking glamorous. No, it's fantastic. I wish I had a live-in makeup artist at my house. It's amazing to be given this opportunity to represent my state, and I'm very proud and happy to do so. I'm a WA girl, woo!
Us being from Bunbury, you know, a country entrant going to the Melbourne Cup is just fantastic.
What are you looking forward to most?
In there with the Amy Victoria Derby, correct weight, the margin's a length and a half by 3 1/4. So the two Danehill colts have come right away from the others in the classic race today. First run way back in 1855. Elvstrom $3.40, $1.50. Kempinski $1.90, Al Bahari $4.50. The running double with Timberina was $38. Quinella $5.10. The trifecta $2.20.60. The exacta $9.20. So the trifecta not bad there. Al Bahari was the trick, but we keep coming back to the value, Ken. Terrific value, Elvstrom and Kempinski.
Yes, Bruce, and I just keep thinking, I know that they've only had 6 and 7 starts each, but I can't help thinking that we've seen something special in today's derby. I think we'll look back in a few months and say, oh, wacko, aren't they good horses? Or in a few years, Elvstrom and Kempinski, the day they first clashed in the big one, the Victoria Derby of 2003.
Thrifty McKinnon Stakes, a half an hour. Fields of Omar $3.50, Accelerator at $30, Fantastic $7, Distinctly Secret $8.50, both going to the Cup. Hale going to the Cup for Beedman $29, Chattanooga at $17, Take Out a Mission. Mummify is $8 now at the moment. He's $6 for the Melbourne Cup Mummify. That's good value, $8, the Caulfield Cup winner. Over the page, Natural Blitz at $27. Ain't Seen Nothing 11. The 2 3-year-olds well in the market, particularly Ambulance.
Yes, Ambulance is a horse with a strong finish. I'm just not so sure of him on the slow. He's at $6, and Casual Pass, the other on-pace 3-year-old, at $9.50.
Just waiting for the presentation. They're just setting it up for the Amy Victoria Derby. Let's go down to Pat. Pat, this will be 2 races in a way. How it affects the Melbourne Cup at $500,000. Mummify, look, big value at $8. How's it on the books?
On my board, you're not going to get $8 about Mummify, I can tell you. Down here, it's a lot shorter than that. But from the top, Fields of Omar holding sway at the moment, but as I speak, just a little easy. I think it'll get out just a touch, Fields of Omar. Moving down a Fantastic, Distinctly Secret, all under double figure odds. Mummify, I think that will be a realistic price for Mummify as we move into stronger betting. And way down the bottom, Ambulance also well in the market at the each way line. So there's expected to be big interest in this one, but I don't think the $8 Mummify will last for too long on the tote.
Great when you have both the Cox Plate winner and the Caulfield Cup winner in the McKinnon, which we've got today. Doesn't often happen. Selections Distinctly Secret for Peter, Ain't Seen Nothing for Dr. Turf.
And I like Fields of Omar, and as you pointed out, Bruce, 9 of the last 20 Cup winners of running this race. So if you're going to have a bet on Tuesday, watch this one very closely.
Does it worry you at all that Phil Tavomar's drawn out a bit at the 2000?
Well, going on his Cox Plate performance when there was so much speed on and he comfortably got into third spot, I think he'll just go forward and relax like he did last week.
Well, Better Loosen Up was the last horse to win a Cox Plate and the McKinnon. Not too many have tried it. I think 5 in the last 15 years. But over the years, some of the greatest, including Farlap, Rising Fast and Tulloch have done the double.
At one stage, I think it was Australia's premier weight for age race, and I think it's a race that the VRC can even promote more, the McKinnon Stakes. It's a beaut race, and I'd like to see it a challenge for the Cox Plate winner each year to run in it.
That's a good point. Let's join Jim Wilson, the presentation for the Amy Victoria Derby.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a story for trainer Tony Vasil, and of course the winning jockey, Australia's man for all seasons, and of course the premier Group 1 jockey in the land, Damien Oliver. And a big congratulations to connections of Elvstrom, the Amy Victoria Derby winner for 2003. Gives me great pleasure to introduce as part of our presentation party Mr. Robert Belville from Amy. Of course, Amy, great supporters of the Victoria Racing Club. And also the chairman of the Victoria Racing Club, Mr. Rod Fitzroy. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Mrs. Shirley Belville to make the presentation of the winner's sash to Elvstrom, the 2003 Amy Victoria Derby winner. As we put the sash and make the presentation in the mounting yard here, a great run. And what a ride by Damien Oliver. As we welcome to the microphone the chairman of the Victoria Racing Club, Mr. Rod Fitzroy.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and to our many international visitors to Melbourne, welcome to Flemington on Amy Victoria Derby Day. The Victoria Derby is Australia's oldest classic race, having been first run in 1855, some 75 years after the first Epsom Derby, but 20 years before America's great classic, the Kentucky Derby. Over the years, some of Australia's greatest horses have won the Victoria Derby, and they include the great Farlap, Tulloch, Tobin Bronze, Dulcify, Red Anchor, Mahogany, and who's to know whether Elvstrom will join that illustrious list in years to come. In keeping with the status of Amy Victoria Derby Day, all races on today's program are at group level, showcasing the very best of Australia's thoroughbreds. Amy is a valued partner sponsor of the VRC, and fortunately their interest in racing extends way beyond the VRC, and I know I speak on behalf of race clubs throughout Australia in thanking Amy for their wonderful support. It is now my pleasure to introduce Amy's Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Robert Belville, who will make the presentations to the winning owner, trainer and jockey of this year's winner, Elvstrom. Mr. Belville.
The Minister for Racing, the Honourable John Pandazopoulos, the Chairman of the Victorian Racing Club, Mr. Rod Fitzroy, the committee members of the VRC, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Amy is delighted to be the sponsor of the 149th running of the Victoria Derby, and this makes the Amy Victoria Derby one of the oldest and most prestigious races in this country. And as this is our 12th successive year, it's also our longest standing sponsorship, and one of which we are enormously proud. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank and congratulate the VRC, in particular its chairman Rod Fitzroy and the team at Flemington, for bringing the course and the track to such a condition in such difficult circumstances leading up to this week with the weather the way it's been, and for making this the favourite first day of the Melbourne Spring Racing Carnival, a day full of competition, quality and excellence. And what a race we had. This began last week with the classic rate at the Amy Vase between Elvstrom and Kempinski, but what a triumph for Tony Vasil and Damien Oliver. So I'd like to, but perhaps more importantly, I'd like to congratulate the Arch of Gold Syndicate, represented by Mr. Frank Tagg, to come forward and collect the 2003 Amy Victoria Derby.
Chairman, committee members, members of the VRC, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. On behalf of all the owners here today, we're obviously extremely excited and we have some people to thank for the effort that went in today. Firstly, we'd like to thank Elstrom's mum, Circles of Gold. We raced that Bonnie mare. She won us in Oaks and she ran second in the Caulfield Cup and she ran 14th here in the Melbourne Cup in '96. But for her to deliver us a Group 1 winning son has just been terrific. So thank you, Circles. You're up at Coolmore being looked after by Peter O'Brien and the boys up there, so thank you very much, Circles. I'd like to sincerely thank our trainer, our friend, and absolute great bloke, Tony Vassell. Tony has been with the horse now for over 12 months. He identified this race 12 months ago, and he told all of us that he really believed that this was a Derby horse and to be patient and let him do his job, which we've done. So Tony, on behalf of all the owners, congratulations on a fantastic training effort. You had confidence oozing all this week and certainly come to the fore. So thank you, Tony. To all the staff at Aquinnita, there's been terrific support for Tony. To Lee, that's helped Tony through this whole campaign, and particular to the head groom, Brian Baldwin, that does a terrific job every morning at 3:30 in the stable. Brian, you love the horse loves you, and we love you, mate, too. So thank you, Brian. Finally, a special thanks to Damien Oliver on an unbelievable ride. He just timed it to perfection. And Damien's a special measure today. Us owners are very taken by the creation of the Oliver Foundation in memory of your brother and your dad, and what it's going to do for racing and jockeys in the future. And we'd like to publicly donate the first $10,000 to your foundation to give it a kickstart, and hope the foundation will do exactly what you wanted to do for future years. So, Damien, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Australia, singularly the most important sponsor. Well, my apologies to Amy. Amy, thank you very much for sponsoring this race. Without Amy and sponsors like you, racing wouldn't be where it is today. So it's with great gratitude that on behalf of the owners, we thank you very much for your sponsorship.
As I said earlier, this is a triumph for Tony Vassell, and there always has to be a first one, Tony. So would you come forward and win and pick up the Trainers' Trophy? Congratulations.
Committee of the Victoria Racing Club, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, big thrill. First of all, I'd like to thank Amy for sponsoring the race. I'd like to thank Frank and Gary and Frank for entrusting me to train this good horse. Especially Frank Tagg, who has been a long time staunch, loyal owner of mine, and I take particular pleasure in enjoying the success with him. I'd like to thank the cast and crew at Aquinnita. Great, terrific bunch of blokes, and especially Robert Smurden, who's been very helpful to me since I've joined them. Robert's a great trainer. And Dan and the other crew, Liam and Richard. And I'd like to thank the staff, Battling Brian, leading the horse around there, my farrier Vaughan, Kevin Mackay for helping, Lee Dunstan, who's been over from Tassie with me for the last few months. He's been fantastic.